The final, law, final rule, the final training is tomorrow. Then the portal and how to use it and what you have to put in to do the portal is next class.
Right, it opens next Wednesday, correct?
Yeah.
The
Yes,
training.
yes.
All right,
Yes.
Fonzie, sit down.
Just say yes,
All right.
cause that's gonna get confusing.
All right, it opens next.
Yes.
Wednesday. All right, but what did we go over last time on mount? So mount, you got them up there? You got them, John Holt? I know. It was 5.
I wasn't at the last meeting.
I think Robbie had it.
You got the breakdown, he wants the breakdown on the ARP money.
The 5 things from last time. That's from that last meeting.
We had them all, we all sit there, but I didn't
Last meeting.
no, I don't have with me.
Oh, the new group of
Yeah, that,
them?
yeah,
Yeah.
that group that we
Oh,
put
I
there.
wasn't at the last meeting, but I was at
That's
that.
the one before, the
That
last
was
one
the
we
one
did.
before the last meeting. I thought y'all.
I don't have it with me, but it was where we was all sitting there and took the pie and broke it down.
Oh, yeah. So, we changed it so much. Is that what the final was on that? I don't want to say that loud.
No, it wasn't that good. Okay, so.
Keep her safe.
So broadband was 736. Surplus of public health, or support of public health, is 530.
What was the category?
Health.
Public health.
And then negative impact, because this was the one where we had talked about, being able to recoup the most. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we swapped those, I'm sorry. So, yeah, I'm trying to read her back and forth anyway. So, the recoup of loss was 608,000.
More than that.
That's not what we lost, that's how much we allowed we was gonna spend.
Not right here, 908.
Okay, yeah, Dewey's correct. So it did add 300 back, so it came back at 908.
Does that count, road department too?
No, that's just how much
That's
we
just
can
how much
use
we-
to
No, we,
pay back
lost a
to
lot
our
more.
revenue.
that was identified that we could set more into that bucket because that was the bucket that we could recoup back out of.
If we qualified for it, but now.
Correct, and now that the final rules come out,
We do.
we qualify for it.
How much?
908.
And our total lost revenue was what, 2 million?
Okay, so the negative impact was knocked down to 130,000.
Road department, jail,
Gerald set right at 900,000. That was
Okay.
that's gonna go.
Alright, so y'all got that one?
And which one?
130,000 negative impact.
I thought that was 908.
Which
No, that was- that was
we
lost
swapped
revenue.
them, remember, because we thought that the buckets,
Oh, yeah.
but we had to swap them around.
So what was the 908?
The
Revenue
908
loss of revenue.
Revenue loss. And then premium paid was 896.
Question on the first one. Is that number right with what we're supposed to be looking at,
Broadband?
with?
Pardon?
Is that the right number that? 736,000 for broadband.
That's what
The
we
array
did.
is
573.
573.
Correct.
This might be a dumb question, what's the difference in a negative impact and revenue loss?
Negative impact is the one where we can give it to the small businesses or whatever.
The restaurant that had to close down
Yeah.
because people couldn't go out
Yeah.
and
Travel.
But now like in.
But the revenue loss was just,
Correct, we can keep it, but John Boyd, you correct me if I'm wrong, but with the final rule that came out, of course, training's tomorrow. So if you hadn't signed up, get ready, you can go online and watch another set of training tomorrow. But with everything and talking to Beth Jones and everybody else I've talked to, as long as we're under the $10 million threshold.
you don't even have to prove
Correct.
loss of revenue. It's a $10 million credit
That's right.
in that category. And, I mean, you can't claim, I mean, we don't have 10 million to claim. But, you know, these places that had 20 million, they claim up to for that, no questions asked.
Right. There's no quarterly reporting,
No.
all those restrictions are gone. So, by waiting just a little while, that was a tremendous, help for the county, in my opinion, because now we can claim it all.
But if you'd already.
But where we gonna pull that money from these other lines?
You can, so now, and that's part of the training tomorrow, but the way that I understand it, if you y'all understand different than I do, tell me to be quiet. But now we can recoup all that money because we have less than $10 million, we have 3.2 million.
Mhm.
So we can cap every bit of it. We can still set it aside to these areas that you all have talked about and discussed, and it can still be done with. It's just now you don't have to worry about any of the reporting, you don't have to worry about all those other ties and all other restrictions. As John Boyd said earlier, these counties that went ahead and done this earlier, now they're starting to see that they could have claimed up to $10 million in a revenue loss.
And then use that.
And use
utilize
that at any
revenues
point,
for
any time.
these fields.
In County General 101. Like, I don't know what that, but that's what we can use that for, so it will be there.
Right. I mean,
But these items, the things that you all have listed, yes, they can still, they still apply if that's what the commission so chooses to do with it. But I'm just saying.
but the 3.2 million, that's what we're gonna get all along.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's what we're still getting.
Correct.
The only difference in waiting this long is saying, if we don't pull some out of public health and put on revenue loss, we can. We spend as much as we want to. Of it on revenue loss to supplement it.
Okay,
Now, if Riley County had done, if they had waited, I mean, they'd had to pull that money if they want to apply more toward revenue loss from something, employee bonuses, you know, that money'd have to come from somewhere. Right.
Up to 10 million.
Right.
Yeah, they could have captured that 10 million and stuck and just plugged it into their County General 101 and had like with what you all have, and just used it so on and moved on with it. Instead of having all the reporting and all the things that's gonna come about, a lot of those restrictions have been lifted, correct?
Yeah, a lot of them, not all of them in premium paid, but a lot. And some of the things that disqualified certain sections of the county employees were done away with as well.
Beth Jones, Mayor, just, you already know, final rule has been issued, the treasurer, which goes into effect April 1st. 9-page, here's the new provision that allows you to take the standard allowance of $10 million to spend on government services. This is a presumption that all local governments lost at least that amount due to the public health crisis. Remember, you cannot use this funding to surplus or take place of funds already budgeted, but can use this towards augment government services. So in other words, if your total allocation is less than $10 million, you can easily take this option and develop a spending plan for governmental services. This appears to include road maintenance, solid waste, and etc. This provision should give you lots more flexibility. 15 exclamation points.
Was that the part they're talking about, it says, allowing recipients to select between a standard amount of revenue loss or a full revenue loss calculation?
The calculation is when you have to show it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
so
calculation.
they're talking about a standard, so I mean, you can just say, we lost X number of dollars.
3.2 million. We can take our entire ARP money and plug it in as a revenue loss. Have our spending set up like you all have been doing, and it's,
And spend it from the general fund.
And why don't we just do that?
Without, I'm afraid we're gonna
Take care of it after we get it.
will y'all indulge me for 2 minutes? I think I can explain this without
Go for
an
it.
argument, if that's all right.
Chairman, you're gonna take it anyway. Go ahead,
No,
Greg.
I'm asking Greg, that all right?
No, sit down and shut it.
Logan,
No,
you
just
here?
kidding, go ahead.
Logan, where's Logan?
Yeah.
All right, we figure up your premium pay, okay, follow me. Make sure I'm all right, make sure me and you and your dad on the same page.
Okay.
We figure up the number, under the plan, we figure up the number of hours you worked, when you worked during, March 2020 to March 2021. Dealing with the public, no time under the desk, behind the desk, or anything else, just like any other employee. So we figure that formula up, and then we figure up the formula for, where's another deputy in here? Another deputy in here? Raise your hand.
David, Kevin, Tyler.
Okay, we figure it up for y'all too. Well, all these different formulas have different numbers on them, different equations, that's fine. Or we claim it as revenue loss. We set a set amount and pay it from the general fund out of that revenue loss we just collected. You get your money and we don't have to do all those formulas. Y'all don't have to turn in the paperwork. And we don't get lynched. Did that all make sense?
That's what I said.
You're gonna That's what I've been saying, do from day one.
I ain't gonna argue with you.
Okay.
Hold on.
That's all said.
I'm not saying that day one. I said
Yeah, how much?
Yeah,
Because I hadn't heard it.
One check.
I hadn't heard it. Hold on, hold on.
Make it another.
How much?
Do what?
While we're debating, go ahead and make it 10, we'll call it even.
Oh, you said you wanted theirs too. Okay,
$10
I'll
done.
remember it. We'll write that down.
Cause I mean,
Don't hurt us.
I mean, I was just wondering
I think
because
I
I've been
put more hours
told.
than you.
Is that the way y'all, I know the
Yes.
training's
No,
tomorrow,
darling.
but if we collect it in, we can do, as long as we bring it in as revenue loss.
Correct.
Then we can expend it any damn way we want to. Sorry. Any
But
way we
the-
want to.
Amen, John, there you go, yes.
But to quell any confusion,
Yeah.
it's not, I ain't gonna say it ain't a big deal, but it don't mean there's no new windfall of money.
No.
Our money's still the same,
Money's still the same.
3.2 million.
But what this will do, because I believe everybody
Makes it
here
easy.
has had everybody that's been called when somebody takes off for 20, 30 minutes. Yes, so this takes care of all that, and it's like I've said 200 times to everybody, I'm not the attendance police. This takes care of all that.
And nobody has to turn in ours.
Correct.
We don't have to work around the holidays and who took
Correct.
holidays, who worked holidays, none of that.
Correct.
It's clear.
Am I not missing
You just gotta
anything?
And that way
Yeah,
nobody
because
has to
it
worry
wasn't
about
doable
putting down
till the
30
sixth.
minutes.
No, it wasn't. You had to turn in the hours up until the sixth.
How's
They
that?
literally dropped.
So
on
Riley County, who done it 3 months ago, you think they're gonna exist, fail to be a county now? Are they in trouble?
Brooks, last I heard, they
No,
were backing up ours.
They
They were
were.
actually going back and collecting
They're not
ours.
backing up theirs, they
They
may have
were
wished
collecting
they'd done it like we did and done it the easier way.
I'm glad they said
But
that.
they done a set amount across the board, did they not?
They did.
Okay, are they in any trouble? Are they any repercussions for them?
They lost $10 million. Yeah, they didn't collect their 10 million in revenue loss.
No, they did. You think, you're acting like it knocked them out of money. It did not decrease their amount.
No, it didn't decrease their amount, but it did limit what it could be spent on.
Right,
because
right.
They didn't, if they didn't
But
capture it this way.
had they have done that, if they had waited, yeah, they could have done a few things different. Their only options have been take the employees' premium money and done something else with it. Is that anybody here's intention?
No,
Well,
that's what.
what's the difference?
Okay, how
And
much
my
do you
answer
want to
is
give?
Brooks,
Yeah,
I'm
we
not a
need
Bradley
to-
County.
I'm still an hourly guy.
I don't know.
They're,
Somebody works
Exactly
2,000
right.
hours,
There's
somebody
no
works
way to
200
do it.
hours, should not get the same thing.
I agree with that 100%.
Well,
With which part?
With, people that work 2,000 hours shouldn't get the same amount as people that work 200 hours.
but when you put a cap on it, it don't matter, you're not gonna get more.
Right, but I
And
mean,
so, but
there-
with doing this new rule, it's gonna take out a whole lot of those issues.
right, my issue is sheriff's department's open 24/7, we never close the door. I ain't gonna name any offices, but I know for a fact there was some that was closed, and I know there's people that were getting at least a day off. Now, that's not, I'm not gonna tell on anybody, but I never missed a day's work. Kevin never missed a day's work, David never missed a day's work.
We had to come to work.
Benton
some of us had
City
to come
got
work sick.
comp days off, where they got to go home and sit for 2 weeks. We didn't get any of that. So,
I worked 84 hours at least 84 hours every 2 weeks.
And then we had people leaving, and we had to cover
Yeah,
for them
and then
too.
we had a mass exodus where we lost 6 people in the summer.
Same for
And-
jail.
And it's not getting any
But
better.
but it goes back to as well, so when you look at it, and I see what everybody's saying, I really do. But if you see the cap is gonna be X, so X amount of dollars. So if you work 1,400 hours, when you get to X, if your premium pay says you made 75 cents an hour,
There's no more premium pay if you put it in the general fund and give it out of that.
do what now?
It's not much premium pay anymore if you put it in the
Okay,
general
so,
fund and give it there.
so you don't call it a bonus?
Well, it's still.
Okay, so I'm just making sure that I'm staying within, but I'm getting,
We'll
so.
find out tomorrow.
Correct.
I'm not positive.
But I'm just saying, so if it's 75 cents, whereas somebody that worked that threshold, and theirs is $3.25. Because if it's capped, it's capped. Is that, y'all see what
You're capping the individual. I'm not capping the individual. I'm saying take how much money you want. If it's the $896,000, you divide everybody's hours in it. If he's got 4,000 hours and it comes out to $1 an hour, he gets 4,000. If she's got 5,000 hours, then she gets 5,000. Because you found out how many hours you get in the total. If he worked 200 hours, if you work 200 hours, you get $200 if it come out to $1 an hour because we had 890.
But didn't everyone turn in
hours?
At that, even
Do
if
what?
they weren't working, didn't they still turn in hours? I mean, even.
They still got paid.
Holiday pay and stuff like that, vacation
So
pay,
you
all
can't-
those count.
But see, and that goes back to that old part, so with
Yeah.
all that was turned in, if vacation, sick, holiday, comp, all that was turned in, then that would be what we understood as a fraudulent.
Yes, it's fraudulent, and the government said, you won't prosecute him, turn it into the DA.
And so that's where that comes into play.
Let me ask you this, what office, and obviously I'm a little biased here, but out of all the offices in the county, which one do we know for a fact is open 24/7?
Well, now, you got to remember as well,
Well, I mean, just sheriff's office, right?
Yeah, but you didn't work 24.
No, I'm not, I'm just saying, that's your front line. We were there every day, right? And we know a bunch of offices were closed, so why don't you run like a front line?
Split the categories,
Yeah,
what you saying?
essentially, I mean, to me, that makes more sense, and that way you got 6 people
Front line
off,
central,
you've got
down
office
central.
staff that are getting a flat rate, and then you've got us that were in people's houses that are, it may be more, but if it's another flat rate, then nobody's mad.
That was the thought at first.
That
I
makes
remember
sense to
that
me, I
being
mean, I don't.
being brought up here, or even at the front line, I remember there might have been talk of a second check for them instead of just the.
But if you can put it in the general fund and then just cut everybody one check,
It's easier.
it's easy.
that's a lot easier.
Plus, there's, I don't know, did you find out anything
You gotta figure out.
on the TCRS?
I know that Bradley County did not
They did
withhold
not.
TCRS.
Okay, so that's, shouldn't be
I don't know
an
if that, if you change the way we do it, then do we have to pay TCRS if we call it something different? And don't.
No, we'll
put
still
under
call it premium,
pay?
but we'll still call it a premium pay. That way, we
It's
don't.
income, why wouldn't you pay it into TCRS?
Is it, and I think, cause if you, I know it's still up there, but if they get into giving it people who are gone and who,
See, that's another issue.
and then the county has to match TCRS, so where, or can we pull that money from ARP?
That's
There's
the
a lot of
question that
questions
come
still
up.
that I don't have answers to on that side of things.
I don't
Well, I think it's in, if it's a bonus, especially if it's a bonus, it's income, it ought to be reported to
Well, that's why it's
TCRS.
not called
That's why
premium
it's premium
pay.
pay.
It's just
One-time
money on
premium
top
pay.
of.
Well, what is it? Is it bonus or
Money.
premium pay?
Money
Well,
on
you're
top
gonna
of
pay
hours
taxes.
you've already worked. Yes, taxes still have to be paid.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, there's no way around the tax.
TCRS has gave us a leeway on that. Other times they're very strict. That's what mine was still with.
TCRS. And then the county matches.
No,
So it's double.
no, we had those numbers that were turned in, I don't know if anybody, I can't remember who it was that was supposed to got a hold of them and told them to redo their numbers, but we never seen anything else come into our office from the school system.
Now that, the new rule did do away with those disqualifiers, like
Correct.
in a state employee.
Correct.
That's one of the things on there.
So that opened that back up.
Yeah.
Or it opened it up. It was not open before, but it's open now.
Is it still 142 employees? I think it's 142. No.
Oh, no, that's,
Well, it depends on.
Yeah, it
how
just
you do
depends
it.
on-
And it depends on who all we decide to include in it.
If teachers, if professionals come in and see the new rule change that, section that said state employees were exempt from getting it, because the teachers were considered state employees. When they changed that to sixth, now the teachers are eligible.
But they closed, and I thought
I
one of the
got
rules
said,
was they could not close.
don't matter, it changed with that new rule.
All that
With the
changed.
final rule.
And wasn't there a different grant or funding thing that went to teachers for COVID?
That was part-
Extra, but they didn't give them a stipend out of it.
But they could have.
No.
No, that
It
was all.
depends on who you talk to.
I think they could have too.
The only ones that got any pay were the ones that done the extra work.
Yeah.
But they could have done premium pay with it.
No, they couldn't.
Yeah,
It
they
had to
could.
go toward lost learning.
Yeah.
So they had to hire the teachers during the summertime to work.
There was an idea that you could use part of it to lessen your regular load and then free up your other money.
Well, the state got so much money, did they ever say anything about them paying?
No.
The state's giving their money to the counties,
I made a spreadsheet.
still right.
Do what now?
The state's giving their ARP money to the counties for
Correct. That's
water,
Water and sewer that's coming back through on the state ARP money.
Right.
Alright, so, you were asking the numbers, so there's
42.
plus.
Well, there's three things retired during the time frame, people going up without anyone that's just quit. That'd be 147.
So you take that, it'd be 147, that's adding those state, health department workers that worked every day, right beside of our county health department workers.
That's full
Which are
time.
now eligible.
Correct, which are now eligible because they are considered state
This
employees.
is full and part mixed together, and we've had 3 retirees, not counting anybody quit, but 3 retirees during the COVID timeframe.
Okay.
Now, how much were we looking at for part-time?
It would,
Oh.
that's what we're asking.
147.
Like down the central office.
Oh, no, that's nothing to do with school.
This is
This is
just
just
road
county.
department.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the school.
No.
How much would it add for the schools? Was it 200?
Way over
Around-
200.
And see, and then, so now, if I remember from the last meeting as well, were you all gonna go back and offer to those employees that were working during this time? Because you heard, I'll just blow and say about the mass exodus they had, so that means all those would be opened back up.
They went to a better paying job.
You remember fire,
I mean, like I said, that's never been really laid out, so that's what we need to know is how many, so that way we can start working on that number.
Crunching some numbers.
Well, you remember the other night, or last month, I made a comment about the ex-employees. I mean, basically boils down that phrase, it is what it is. They're not here no more. To me, this money is dual purpose. Yes, it's premium pay for working during the COVID. But at the same time, especially in the sheriff's office, it's like, thank you for not leaving like everybody else. And maybe this will help you, encourage you to stay here till we figured out how to give you a raise. And, you know, that's what I'm saying, I think it's,
And that's what I said based off my office, because I've got some, I've got one.
Same thing.
And you know, and I'm gonna have a girl that's doing all this work, putting it in. And I don't think it's right for one that's left to receive.
Get more than.
It's not right. And I mean.
And it's just gonna
I'm
cut
like
into
y'all,
their
but
money.
It's not my decision, it's your all's decision, to tell us how to look at this.
I'll tell you, I have an issue with it. I ain't gonna lie to you, if somebody that left gets it, I have a problem with that. I mean, y'all, that's just me, y'all can take that however you want to, but if you're telling me I could've left, went to Cleveland City and made 10,000 more a year and got this, it's kind of a slap in the face. But that's just me.
I see your point.
Yeah.
I really do.
I mean,
But at the same time, I see that if the money is to pay for people that work the shifts,
yeah.
and they work the shifts, whether they're here now or not, really doesn't matter. If the money was for them working the shift, then they should get the money.
You hear what I said though about look this dual purpose? Part of, I mean, we gotta do something. I mean, above the mountains and probably down here, we got rookies training rookies sometimes, right?
That's exactly right.
And
That's
when you
the
get a
situation
police
you're in right
or
now.
sheriff's office, well, somebody's been on the job a month training a new hire, there's problems. And who, wouldn't drive 10 more minutes to make, you know, Bradley County, did anybody see the Sunday paper? Did you see where they was complaining, cause they only get started out at 36,000 a year? Bradley County deputies, and they was complaining about it. Corrections starts out at 30. Their corrections officers start out more than our deputies, a lot more. And they're complaining, that's not good enough for them, you know. And we gotta do something, I mean, with y'all. And that's why I'm saying.
You gotta do something with all county employees.
Yeah, all, the whole county, and anybody that's still here working this county, where it's Robbie's office, the sheriff's office, the dumps, you know, I'm just glad they're still here. And I think we need to use this opportunity to compensate them to the fullest we can for staying here.
We can't hire people.
Do what?
We can't hire.
Oh, no, you
people.
can't.
The biggest thing is everyone headhunts for, if it's law enforcement, anyone here can go.
I've been called by THP to
Numerous
come
times.
to their academy and I'm not going.
But it's 8 weeks, they're dropping, everyone's dropping requirements for, I can't speak for any other officers, it's so easy to get, he said 10, it's easier to get $15,000 or $20,000 anywhere for a little bit more training.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, I'm grateful to be here. It's just hard to keep on trucking when.
But they're using Polk
Everybody
County
keep
as a
leaving.
stepping stone, whereas somebody, I would rather, like if I worked here for my whole career, I'd be proud of that, whereas these new guys are using it to get 2 years experience. And then take that experience and the time we put into them to train them to go to Cleveland and work for them.
They're not staying 2 years now, are they?
Well, I mean, that's just on the good side of it, so.
But that's my point about nothing against the people that's left, but, you know, we need to figure out some way to reward and compensate them for staying here.
Well, it's
I mean, right down to the,
anytime you called Teresa was available for it. I mean,
right down to the road department. I know somebody that lives above the mountains, they're probably making $15 an hour to run heavy equipment. They could drive 20 more minutes to Blue Ridge, and with their experience, and that $15 an hour jumps up to $35 an hour. $20 more an hour for a 15-minute drive, you know, with their experience.
Let's say we was doing pay, take Logan's argument on the hours worked, make them level 1 at the sheriff's office. Because of the hours and the number of hours a week worked, 24/7, right? And you come down to the next category, make it level 2.
The convenience centers need to be level
Yep.
1.
Dump workers need to be number one.
They didn't have, there's just like the deputies and the jailers, they didn't have no choice.
And all those places can be verified that they were open too. And y'all's office,
You check our gas system.
I mean, we just didn't close. I think that would be the biggest thing. You can just,
So you got sheriff's
regardless
office.
of close or not.
Garbage, sanitation,
Health department.
health department. Who else?
EMS isn't being considered in any of this for.
That was the next thing that we talked about, if y'all want to extend that to there or not, because they were a contracted private entity. It was talked about, but it was never decided.
Pull it over to the general fund and pay it out of that, I don't know how you could do that.
No, that'd have to be out of the.
If you do it in the premium, if you leave it into the
The only way that I know
ARP
of,
money.
and Catrice could probably answer this better, but if it was out to
Then
a
you just
vendor
give it
check,
to
that we paid them just like we paid
them
them
and they distribute it.
Just to care man,
Yeah, see, we would pay just to CareMed, we wouldn't pay the individual.
and then let them disperse of it.
So we would take our vendor check, like what we pay CareMed every month anyway, and it would just be noted based off of the number of employees that they turned in.
Well, I think they should.
So would there be any guarantee they would see that money though, if CareMed got it?
This, they were under 2 companies.
Would there,
Do what
There would
now?
have to be some.
They were
kind of
under
law.
2 companies.
but I mean,
Yeah, but we
could
would just
they,
take care of CareMed.
or would it
That's
just
all
go
we'll take care
into
of.
Well, what you're gonna have to look at too with that, their turnover rate,
What?
their turnover rate at CareMed's been kinda high.
Well, then they won't.
Well, I wouldn't say turnover, I mean.
Just like
people
yours.
that- Well, no, I mean, I'm saying people that are coming in, like, to work a shift. You know, they'll come in and work Wednesday one week, then the next week they'll work Thursday. They're not necessarily full-time through CareMed.
That's why the hours make more difference, more
Right,
sense.
and that's what I was just, at least y'all be aware of, that was my only thing.
24 on, 48 off.
So who else on level one? You have deputies.
Did we
Now, hold on.
add- I'm
Now,
sorry, I had-
so, y'all say deputies or sheriff's department, because remember we got into this earlier, because you have different ones at sheriff's department.
Is this deputies, corrections,
Corrections,
clerical,
deputies, dispatch.
Cause,
Is that right?
I mean, there were more corrections that were sick than there were deputies. They were getting sicker than anyone.
It was tougher, but.
So deputies and.
No, you ran for 5 minutes and
Just
you had
corrections,
5
dispatch.
days.
Count
Got
dispatch.
outside
Yep.
guns and we have.
Y'all okay with counting dispatch?
I'm good.
because they know that
You
wasn't
better be,
county.
cause your dispatch is offline. so.
Yeah. I don't want them back on.
It is now, but it
They
was
were
not,
around
in the old
others,
rule, they were
so-
not included.
Yeah.
What, dispatch?
Dispatch was not included in the
Well,
old
the
rule,
federal,
but they are in the new rule.
but, well, federal labor law was included, even
what?
though they weren't, face to face because of the barriers.
Do what now?
The federal, had done dispatch and communications as essential originally.
Correct, but they were
But
not,
then the thing said they weren't.
correct.
Well,
But now with the new rule, they are considered, but I know that that was one of the talks that we had before, like Patrice just said, because we talked about that and,
dispatch,
okay.
But just talking about the sanitation work, some of them are part-time,
Mhm.
so you're not talking about doing, the one doing full-time.
I won't get as much for my part-time workers as I did my full-time workers,
Why?
because they only had one less day, unless you all wanna take them down and do something else. But my part-time workers working done just as much as,
They didn't some of the.
Logan, you make me nervous, come on up here where I can hear you.
correct, but you had that worker that may have moved from there to Benton.
I think I
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Talk a little louder then.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
If they
But they
were
work.
working 3 days, it would be right to give them a full, like a full check.
Correct, and so, once again, you go back to the sheriff's department, you have some out there that are part-time,
Yeah.
so,
Well,
We
that
don't.
should be taken into
I
consideration.
think we have equal
because
part-time.
it-
Yeah, we do, you got a bunch of us in
Yep.
part-time.
Well,
You have a part-time
Yep.
maintenance guy,
Oh,
you have a
yeah, I wouldn't
part-time
take-
clerical.
Yeah.
yep.
yeah, I
Or,
wouldn't
I
take
don't know
them.
what she's considered, but, and what about maintenance and
And
clerical
it's
at
apparently
sheriff's
some of
department?
the jail,
You found that
some
on
of
level
the,
one?
courtrooms.
Do y'all wanna go ahead and cut that in half right now? The level ones that be full-time, part-time, how we're gonna,
Yeah.
like James says, I mean, I agree. You had part-time workers, but you also had some of these other part-time workers.
Well, let's not cut them apart, let's put them in the other category if they weren't full-time. How's that work?
How many categories do you have?
2.
So this sanitation in level one is just the 2 full-time sanitation, is what you're
Yes.
saying?
And when we come up with the amount for the level 1, we'll have to come up with the amount for level 2, which will be.
We'll have a level 1 full-time, level 1
Okay,
part-time,
so
level 2 part-time, level 2 full-time.
your jail administrator, your maintenance, your clerical, sheriff's department, are we putting them in level one?
Well, the jail administrator had to be at work probably, right?
She just quit, the one that was working then.
Take care of that.
There's a new one,
Huh?
there's a new one. And
They
it
wouldn't
depends on
be-
what time frame you go on, yeah, he's been here for a while.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Maybe coming November?
I think it was the end of October.
I'm thinking October, sure.
Yeah.
So he
around
would-
October.
he got right at 3 months in.
So it depends
Yeah,
on
but
what
the end
time
of
frame you go on, I just.
Yeah,
October.
I just think
October was a cutoff, when he's supposed to work there,
it's good little groups.
so.
But now, wait a minute, if you do that, you're gonna hurt some employees like from Robin's office. Ain't you? If you make October the cutoff,
We didn't make it that, that's just what the guidelines said, was it not? We're not discussing.
No, that's March 2020 to March 2021.
No.
Or March 2021 to.
We did March 20 through October 2021 is what we pulled hours
Right.
for.
That's what we done, worked to pull all those hours.
We don't have to do that now.
No, you don't have to do that now because of new rule.
Well, new rule.
But, so, level one, full-time,
Level one
deputies,
part-time.
dump workers, health department, care med, corrections, dispatch.
Where did care made come in? I mean, for sure.
We threw that in a while ago, I think.
I thought that's what you said, that's what I wrote down. If you don't want to, tell me now, I'll take them out.
The
I
only
don't
question
know, I
I
just
have
wonder where it come from.
is there any guarantee that if you paid care med that you could make sure the employees get it?
Yes,
Instead of care
like
med?
contractual, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So,
We can do that.
Fair enough question.
care med, yes or no?
Let me just tell it, yes, so, yes, no. I mean, we got X amount of dollars to do these bonuses with, and the more money we divide, the more, the higher the number.
The
we
less
divide,
our-
Everybody in Polk County wasn't given to a select few.
the less money y'all are gonna get, so.
I mean, with it being a subcontracted, I mean, they're not technically county employees, bro.
No, but you can use it for it, if that's what, we're kinda going on y'all's, that y'all's,
County's money, in my opinion. That's the way I
Underpaid.
feel about it. Not CareMed's money, but I mean,
we're letting us be as involved in this as we can.
but they were, I mean.
It's not the county's money, it's the people of the county's money.
Well, same thing, I mean, county collectors.
Let's just break it down and give each household X number of dollars.
And the whole
Then
county,
do whatever they want.
Take it off for taxes.
in lieu of tax. So,
Yeah, just like y'all do the charitable contributions, each commissioner gets
vote on it.
1/9 of it, and put a dollar out there, that worked real good, didn't it?
Okay, so was there any
I
other
got
on
one
level
still
one?
mad at me over right down by the house. I'm waiting to speak to them in the store.
I don't know that anyone's even turned in their
Over.
stuff to claim their money.
The what?
I don't know anyone.
Would it not make
Anybody
sense?
else on level
Chamber,
one?
chamber turned it.
Anybody else on level one?
Uh,
It's almost 10 o'clock.
no, let's leave that at that.
Okay, level one part-time would be.
Sanitation, sheriff's office,
Same one.
support personnel.
Correct.
And then we
Anybody
start
else?
part-time,
Alright, then you're gonna say level two, right?
all full-time employees include road department.
Think you need to include the non-certified in schools.
What's the number on there?
I don't know. But how can you justify giving the SRO officer big pay, but
I'm
the
not arguing with
janitor
that.
next to
That's
him?
what-
Well, but
don't
they
get
wasn't
nothing?
in school then, they were on the road.
Do what?
They were in school.
Schools were closed, the SROs were working on the road.
Schools have been open for over a
Schools?
year.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
listen,
but if
schools-
you're talking between that time frame that you're saying.
Yeah,
Are
we
you-
were in school during the time frame.
They were.
So,
I looked at the calendar the other day. The school would let them out when the numbers got so high. As soon as the numbers dropped, they put them back in.
Schools
Let the
around there
numbers
never
go
closed.
back. It's like on, off, on,
They
off.
did from, March, something through May. That was it.
Oh, okay.
Opened back up in August.
That's fine, I just didn't know what.
But how can it be fair? I mean, these people don't make nothing. They may make half of what the SRO officer makes.
that's real bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm-
did answer.
Clerical at the sheriff's department, are they in payroll one? I mean, level one?
Are they level two?
Who's?
Like the clerical, like Amanda,
Oh.
Callie, Connie, David Calhoun?
No. They
So
would
they're
be-
level two.
They would be level two.
The
full-time.
triplet.
Full-time.
Is it triplet?
He's
full-time
Maintenance,
For a week.
I've never been working that.
Yeah, but he's.
And the jail administrator of Wheeland.
Or
The
level
jail
two.
administrators in
Nobody
there,
sits them all.
they're
Okay, so
active.
they're
They're
for sure.
level-
Bus drivers
they're
are
level
50%
one.
raise.
Jail
What about
winner,
the clerical and the maintenance?
Yes, sir. Would be.
One or two?
Maintenance would be two.
So if you give it to them, you get it to the teacher. What you said.
So you're alright with that, right? Hear that?
I don't know, read that back where they all hear.
So jail administrator fall in level 1 with deputies, corrections, dispatch, clerical, and maintenance in level 2.
Which is the same as, will be the same as the clerical and all.
Offices inside the
all
courthouse.
offices. We'll get no feedback yet.
Yep, they must be okay with it, they're not gonna.
Okay.
Fight down here.
I don't know what the jobs entail, I just know the, you know,
I don't know
what they're
what the time frame
considering,
is
so
on
I
that,
don't know.
I know they come over to our office and bring papers.
But are they on the same schedule,
Nope.
Monday through Friday?
Yeah, they're on the same,
Yeah.
well,
They're on
no. I think some of them are in and out earlier and later, I don't know what they work. I know they'll come to the office about 3 o'clock.
Their hours are a normal 40-hour week.
Okay.
Could we have another, ARP meeting
No.
Tuesday, and let everybody come and plead their case? That would give you a day or two to, get it all done.
Let's go. We're wanting to get, we'd just like to have some clarification so we can get started and
And
crunching
I'd
some
like a
numbers.
number to start crunching.
Yes.
What do y'all wanna hear?
And how much
Give
do
me
y'all
some
want us to look
numbers
to give to
crunch,
us?
and I'll come back to a meeting with us.
What we gonna do about the road department?
Y'all said level 2.
Level 2.
And then library and those would be level 2 part-time. Any of the part-time workers. Correct?
Yep.
Level 2.
Lori?
Level 2.
Lori is full-time, she don't fall under level,
Level 2.
Not
Not level 2 part-time. All the others would be level 2 part-time. Because she falls just like my girls fall.
Okay.
How many we got to? 100? That would be, that's not counting, you've not even got the schools yet, but right there it's gonna be about 147, 150.
Possible, yeah.
Not counting school, well, no, I forgot, we got Care Med.
I pulled today's count, employee
No,
count,
we
I updated
pulled
these
care
numbers.
of that.
That's the non-certified.
No.
Well, I ain't saying pull them out, but I will say,
You can limit the amount you give, you
Yeah.
don't give everything that
care,
everybody else gives.
the non-certified and care made, I say, since they're not actual county employees, give them $1,000.
Now you talking about specifics instead of levels.
Do what?
He's wanting levels, then you give him specifics.
No, that's fine, I mean, we can,
That's a number to go on.
Specific, if it's just care man.
Care Med level 2 part-time.
Part-time rate.
Airmed and
No, we could put them in another category. They don't work for the county. They're not under 101. Put non-101 employees. Way to fix that.
Okay.
You agree?
Well, some of the healthcare workers are not 101.
and the road department,
Road department's not 101.
and sanitation.
We're not, 116, 131, 101 are all in the same boat. Along with drug officers and,
yeah.
any other whatevers that we have that are not county employees, correct? That
Okay,
works.
so non-certified and Care Med, you wanna flatten them at $1,000.
We'll make them in a class and we'll.
$1,000 club.
Yeah.
There you go, I mean,
Say,
Is that like the
care
dollar
made,
club?
What happens if the $1,000 club gets more than the sheriff's office?
That's what they tell.
What level are we gonna be on?
that's up y'all decide.
We're not.
We're level 10 o'clock.
Actually, at 12 o'clock, we get to leave the garden, because 12 o'clock's your deadline.
somebody told
That's
them
that
right
computer
there.
that brought this barbecue truck.
It is.
You got numbers of level 2 workers?
We got a number for level 1 worker, yeah.
What's the total amount?
Then everything else take care of itself.
No, I mean, of money that's there to spend.
Right
Whatever
now,
we
it's
say.
896,000.
That's if we don't want it for the general fund.
So if you divide that by 200,
You gonna have more than 200?
you are, well, that's just for a round number, that's 4,500 flat for every person.
But you got 1,000, you got all the non-certified.
I'm
Care
just
Med,
saying
1,000.
hypothetical.
I say,
Something, a starting number, something to start with.
on the level 1 workers full-time,
There we go.
started at 4,500, see what we get to.
Okay,
Y'all know what you're gonna say, 40, for everything I say, you try to cut it, you gonna try to cut that this time?
What kind of gun you carrying, Logan? No, that's fine with me, Brooks.
Alright, so level one part-time.
Well, it would be prorated on their hours, wouldn't it?
No, hell no.
You have to, define part-time. We got somebody working 1 day a week, we got some work 2 days a week,
Oh, we do, yeah, I
so
settled with them on this.
we're going to prorate their hours.
One day, it's like
2,500.
1 day a week,
they get
But-
something.
$1,000.
I think 1 day a week, go to 500.
We'll do it this, we do 4,500 on level 1 people, and just theoretically, 5-day work week, that's 900 a day. So part-time works 2 days, level 1,
1,800.
it's 1,800, they work 1 day, it's 900.
900 based on the average day's
Right.
work.
If you ever,
900 per day.
I know it sounds quirky, but that's the best way to figure it.
Up to,
Based on average days.
$3,600, cause if it's over 3,600, you'd be full-time
With
anyway.
the cap at.
It's over 32.
Yeah. Do what?
It's over 32.
No, we're talking about money. 3,600, 900 times 4 is 3,600. Anything over that, you'd be working 5 days anyway, you'd be, yeah.
alright, so level 2, full-time.
3,000. I'm 2,500.
So you're gonna give part-time,
A cap of 36. and
you're gonna give
give me
part-time level 1's
3,500.
more than you are level 2.
Now what? You get it part-time
So
level
you
one.
give part-time level 1, it's a cap of 3,600, but you're gonna give level 2,
You're gonna cap me at
I didn't
3,500.
do that.
that was the number it was given.
No. You give level 1.
Level 1, part-time,
Correct, 900 a day, capped at $3,600.
I
That's
said
what we said.
2,500 while ago, Brooks.
How much?
I said 2,500, period, across the board.
I'm just asking for numbers, that's all, and that's what I wrote down.
Are you changing the cap on level 1 part-time then?
You wanna bring level 1 back down?
Level 1 part-time?
Yes.
2,000. I'll throw a number out there.
That's the number I threw out.
Okay, that's what I asked, and
2,000.
everybody didn't, nobody said nothing.
I'd say
And that's when I looked at her and asked her.
okay. Now, which level are you on?
I'm on level 1 part-time.
Number 1.
And they're at 900 a day with a cap of what?
2,000.
1,800. 2,000.
2,000.
2,000.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now level 2 full-time, 30.
3,500.
Who was getting 45?
Level
Level
1.
1.
Full-time.
You're currently
Full-time.
full-time.
Is this not the same level 1?
No, it's this level 2.
And then level 2 part-time, you doing the same
Who's on
thing?
first?
How much a day on
No,
them?
who's on third?
15.
Second,
Second.
so level 2 part-time.
Level 2 part-time?
You did 900 a day on level 1.
So we'll do 450 a day?
With a cap of,
1,500.
You gonna do, okay.
Alright, so here's what you all said. Level 1,
You all did the same.
you all are a committee, and we're just wanting some numbers.
Hours, that's what I go by.
$4,500 for a level 1 employee, which consists of deputies, dump workers, health department workers, corrections, dispatch, jail administration. Level 1, part-time, dump workers, sheriff's department, $900 a day, $2,000 cap. Level 2, full-time, including the road department, $3,500. Level 2, part-time, $450 a day at a $1,500 cap. Non-certified and possibly care med at $1,000.
Part-time, full-time.
I don't know, y'all tell me.
Hours.
Care me?
No, he said part-time or full-time. I said, I don't know, y'all tell me.
On which one?
Non-certified,
Non-certified, how much you say, non-certified?
y'all said $1,000.
I give them
$1,000.
care me at
500 part-time, 1,000 full-time.
For them and care me, of course, care me ain't got no part-time to do.
Well, they're all, yeah, they do.
Well,
Yeah, if they had somebody that works 1 day a week, just like the scenario that played out, they get 500.
I may work 1 day a month for CareMed. Just as an extra.
Long drive.
You're getting old too, we
Yeah, I
have
know.
things.
Will there be any way to help CareMed for us?
To what?
What will the process be to get all that? Because there's a lot in and out of CareMed, just to help them fill the position.
They have to be an active payroll employee, just like with us. I mean,
There's how many of them?
I don't know, but it won't be that bad.
And did their company give them any bonus?
Don't think so.
But it don't matter now because of the rule change.
I know that, but if they got a big bonus in their company, then they can fire them,
Come
get
out.
more money, cut their money in.
Yeah.
And did they work there during time frame?
That's
Well, that'd
where
be for them to turn
That's where it's
around.
up to them, because they'll have to fill out that paperwork.
How much of the work is this gonna be for you, Patrice?
A lot.
This stuff for-
We're trying to
This,
simplify it for them.
this will help, because for the last 4 months, all we've done is just kicked around. This will help tremendously to finally get some numbers in.
Well, they just
Right
decide
around
on the
Tracy.
ones who left if they're getting anything.
Yeah, they
Do
do
what?
not.
That was the decision on that one.
Do what?
The ones that left.
Yeah, they're out.
They're out.
Would it be easier just to do decide on the amount and do a percentage of 60-40 split or a?
Or you could just give it all to sheriff's department.
Yeah, I won't get shot at.
Retirees are in though, right?
I think they should,
Retirees are
There's
passed
only-
away.
you got to retire and pass away.
Well, no, you had one that passed
Oh,
away,
I thought
so
so.
you better include the one that
That's
passed
really
away.
narrow now.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't check with the road department on how many retirees they had, well, we know the
Correct.
one, but I know the counties have 3 retirees.
Frankie Aaron,
Yeah.
Frankie Aaron, he worked for road department.
Road department, you had one that passed away.
And, you Davis, and Glenn Stiles, that passed away, worked for road department, there's 3 in there. Huh? So, we got all this something.
I'm pretty sure he was, I don't think he was alive. Yeah.
The only thing, need to find out how many this goes to exactly, not 6 months.
Okay, that's another question that you can ask. Oh, certified.
Yeah, y'all, we didn't do it certified.
We're going to.
Want to do anything with the certified teachers?
I said, I think everybody should be included.
Oh, there's gonna be a bond.
I know I'm just my girl when they make for 7 8 days a year. But I'd rather go with somebody like you said.
We have a one on the second. I mean,
35.
Level 1 on second class, 35.
Level 2 is 3,500.
Because they take your insurance out.
Level 1 is 45.
Level 2. You gonna take this class? Huh?
No, somebody else can.
Level 2 is 3,500.
I gotta get her on this deal.
I'll put that in our fridge for you. Work.
It don't matter.
Everything else is walking on. I bought land to build a house.
I ain't got nothing to do.
Take 2 years.
They make good money, working no 80 days a year. And with Williams County, it's just my thing. I really, but what about that? Teachers, what would I do about that? Know how much?
Plus, I think
Oh,
it's in the insurance.
I don't know.
Brandon County Jail.
Here's one problem I got. You got people.
Yeah, my kids 18, I go along. I'm not going to Brandon, they didn't know it.
Face everybody. And teach it there.
I stepped out there, I stepped out there to jail as well.
Oh, I agree, but it goes back to what I was saying, what it's called. I looked at this, too, the new work before, and trying to retain employees. So we don't have that big rollover in military, we got the hard in Canada, and the courthouse, the sheriff's office. But I see what you're saying, but.
Premium pay was because you put your life in danger because you were in exposure to anybody
I
else.
agree with you.
It's not how it's done.
But that's why I keep saying to you, all around the ball where they can, you don't find them in. New Bedford Show, or probably going to get out on it, or later, like flag, 1,000 Why would we give teachers more than non-certified?
I don't think you should.
That's what he's gonna do.
Just say it, just say it.
About to be eight,
I think the non-certified should be just the same as level two.
I just put the non-certified level, teachers, and then put the non-certified level two.
Level two, full to part-time, you gonna give them 3,500 or 1,500?
No, I'm just saying what they say.
That's what I'm saying, you're gonna put them up to 3,500,
Yeah,
1,500.
we can, that'd take up all our money.
You know.
Level, non-certified and ambulance are $1,000. But I don't feel like the teacher, you take the other equation, your teacher, your commissioner right now. I don't think teachers should get more money than non-certified, if you look at the salary.
I don't either. I don't either.
Well, you don't like 1,000 enough for teachers.
But teachers ain't gonna think it's still up for me, we gotta make it some kind of decision.
Well, here's what I hear from the school system, they're not expecting nothing, and anything we give them, we appreciate.
That's not true. You heard wrong. I'm gonna take up the same one yesterday. They are expecting.
Do what?
As of yesterday, they are expecting.
From
When they come out about the final rule done away with the whole.
who run and told them, your house at the meeting, I told you.
I did.
You won't pay?
Who run and told them?
Everybody that's actually watched that training, that come out.
So everybody watched that train and told the teacher.
Just like.
I ain't told about the
Why are they watching that during school?
Middle school, that Brooks is recording.
You can watch it right now.
You can watch it right now. You can find it on YouTube, I bet.
If you think figure this out, man, there's nothing in training video to learn.
There's nothing they can learn you. We know that.
They can't teach. They talk. I just made that one.
But it was enough for something, wasn't it?
I hope not.
He's gonna put it on YouTube.
You still on, ain't you, Walter?
Did y'all adjourn yet?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm still on.
What was y'all saying there?
I've been caught on them recorders, me, that don't involve me no more. Every 20
Well,
years.
you getting up real quick though.
There's not enough internet to get loaded up in 2 days here, though.
No, it's,
But we're changing that.
We broadcast live once we get it.
Oh, yeah. Then they can come meet us at the front door.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get more than all certain.
I don't either.
Okay.